Hello and welcome to the first round of the Saturday Night Racing Championship. I will be racing in the racing point throughout the 8 race long calendar. Starting off with the first race through the Red Bull Ring in Austria, managed qualifying second after one of the other drivers got a grid penalty, and I wasn't expecting much from the race, but you'll see how well we do, and you had to attack from the off. And yeah, let's see what happens throughout the rest of the race. So on the formation lap now, this is the end of it. The cars are lining up on the grid. You have to attack on the off, need to attack Mercedes, and hopefully I managed to get a good start. 5 lights are on, and the cars are off for the race at the Red Bull Ring. I get an okay start, definitely managed to match the Mercedes, come alongside into turn 1, break a bit later, go down the inside and take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix as I start to pull away from the rest of the cars. Got a few tenths gap as coming up into turn 3 now, braking, cars coming up behind me now, and I hold the lead through the first 3 corners, take it away, and then getting a much bigger gap on the cars behind, going through the rest of the lap into turn 4 now. Gap shortens a bit, but I managed to extend it on the exit up to about 8 tenths as the Alfa Romeo's got past the Mercedes, a bit wide through turn 6 I think, and almost a full second gap. It's come to sector 3, my favourite sector of the track, and we will get a second's gaps now going into turn 10, into 11, and I will lead across the line to lead lap 1 of the Austrian Grand Prix, taking the fastest lap, but that's because I was leading this 1:11.8 for the first lap. So coming up the hill now, through lap 2 into turn 3, you can see the gap has stretched a second, but the Mercedes behind is closing in down the straight. He's now put it in a tenth as I go into turn 4, stretch it a bit with braking, but it is now down to 7 tenths, and the Mercedes is getting really close. Now coming through the middle portion of the track now, gap is moving down and a bit wide. That's put it all the way down to 2.5 seconds. There's less than a tenth now as we're going down through to turn 9, which I was saying like turn 10 earlier. The gap stretched a bit through sector 3, but going wide will not help me. Neither will going over the bump and going drastically hitting the DRS board. That will not help. I'll take the fastest lap before Mercedes does. Going through up into turn 3 again. After up to turn 3, the gap is reduced ever so much. Will Mercedes make a move going into turn 3? And well, yes he is, he's going for it. He overshoots it. I perform the switchback and get the Mercedes back. I stretch the gap out again, and that was a good move. I really enjoyed that one. And the gap is quite small again, it's less than half a second, going back into the middle of the track again. I really like the perspective. I'm really good at it, I don't know why, but coming back into sector 3 now, the Mercedes is closing back on me. Stretch a bit of a gap now as we're going through turn 9 and 10 yet again, to set another lap. Now going down turn 1 low Mercedes, I go defensive, he sets fastest lap yet again. So turn 1 he doesn't make the move. Will he do it in turn 2? I've run wide there. That will not help me. I can't do it in turn 2, that's flat out. Will he do it in turn 3? I think he might. I go defensive, he goes to the outside. I break out, speed up a bit to try and get it. Oh, we've hit. Oh, I've hit Mercedes. And coming back onto the main straight now, I get DRS somehow. I was behind them at the DRS detection point. Will he try for another move? I think he might. Breaking into turn 4, and he's hit me. Losing a bit of his front wing, and that should be the end of the battle. Now will he put into the pits to change the front wing? I'm not sure, but that. So coming on to lap 8 now, you can see that we have stretched a 4-second gap to the Mercedes, which is how far back the AlphaTauri behind us. Now hopefully the Mercedes does not pit, which he hasn't done yet, and slows down the AlphaTauri. There's not much from this race so far. I've just been leading a lot, not came across any back markers or anything, and there's not been like a virtual safety car or anything. But I've got about 6 laps until my pit window opens, and hopefully the Mercedes manages to slow down the rest of the drivers behind me, which will give me a gap. Just going through the final few corners now. It'll be good if I manage to win. It'll be good if Mercedes keeps slowing people down. Yeah, hopefully the rest of the race goes as planned. So slightly later on in lap 9 now, you can see the Mercedes is right ahead of the Williams behind, and I think they're battling just now. So the Mercedes, Williams and AlphaTauri battling for possession, which is really helping me. This is making them lose time, especially with one of them having a broken front wing. So this is really beneficial to my lead. The Mercedes got back ahead as they're going into turn 4 now. The Williams was up in second momentarily, but it's all the way down to 4th now, and it's about second to the Mercedes. But you can see AlphaTauri just behind the Mercedes now, and I'm not sure if they pit this up. I think they might, not the Mercedes but the other two. As I'm just going through turns 9 and 10 now, as they are going to the pit. The Mercedes is still ahead. None of them pit, I don't think. No, they don't, as the Mercedes got a small bit of a gap now, but this is really helping my lead them battling behind, and I hope they do it for the rest of the race. So coming to the end of lap 10 now, the AlphaTauri Williams have created a gap behind the Mercedes. Mercedes creating a gap as I'm going through turns 9 and 10 now, and I am asking my engineer to be about my teammates, but more importantly the AlphaTauri and the Williams both pit. I think they're trying to do the undercut on the Mercedes. This has got me worried. I think that I didn't know how quick the pit lane was in Austria, so I wasn't sure when to pit. So the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri, no, not the Mercedes, the Williams and the AlphaTauri are both going on hards. So they're going to the end of the race on the hards, going to do 25 laps on them, and they are just coming at the pit lane now, I think. Yeah, because they're behind the other racing point. This got me worried. So my pit window opens in 3 laps, and I was just worried if they were going to catch me or something. My tyres weren't looking the best, but they could definitely carry on. But I was a bit worried at this point. So I'm coming on to lap 13 here, but halfway through the lap. So I meant to pit the next lap, but I'm worried about the Mercedes and AlphaTauri. Well, the Mercedes, the Williams and the AlphaTauri catching me up. So pitting on lap 13 here, coming down into the pits here in Austria. I'm going to put the mediums on, which means I'm going to have to do 22 laps on them, which is quite a lot. So putting the mediums on, it was a good pit stop. I do lose out to the Mercedes because the Mercedes hasn't pit yet, and I come out in the net lead to the race still, and I've got a bigger gap than I had before. It was about 6 seconds before the pit stops. Now, as we come down now, it's all the way down to 11.5 seconds. 11 seconds is the gap the cars behind, and that is a pretty good pit stop. So I'm just using ERS through the straight between 3 and 4. The Mercedes should pit this lap. I think he had the same strategy that I've started with. So he'll go from the softs to the mediums on lap 14. So, yeah, I think he'll pit as he's just going into turn 9 now. I'm actually not that far behind him. I didn't realise how close I was to him when I came out. And yes, he's building the pit lane. So I will retake the lead. And lap 15 was the quickest of my race, so I will leave you on board in the commentary for this whole lap.
Gap behind is 11.1 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 9.1.
So I'm now on lap 18 and I'm right behind the AlphaTauri of Dan Kvyat, one of the AI cars still. I'm going to lap him, but there's a virtual safety car deployed because of an incident up on the other part of the track. I'm on the straights with some human players. So I'm right at the back of a car and hopefully my gap will extend through the VSC. I can't actually remember if it did or not, but yeah, I've currently got a gap of 16 seconds, which I think is pretty good. But I need to slow down the straights all the time because of the VSC, and it's quite hard to slow really when you're in a corner. But the VSC is still active as I'm coming up to turn 3, probably the worst corner for a VSC, just in general. As I'm right in the back of Danny Kvyat, and there's Alfa Romeo that I've already lapped right behind me as the VSC is ending as I'm going to the corner, which is not what I wanted. I'd rather it was on straight, so it could definitely be so I need to, but it has ended now and I've got a gap of 13.6 seconds, which is slightly bigger than it was before as I'm right in the back of the AlphaTauri. Will I be able to overtake Kvyat? Yes I can. And there's another car about to be lapped right ahead of me there as I'm going into lap 20. I can't tell who it is. I think it's a Red Bull, so I think it might be Verstappen, but I mean it could be anyone. And there's yellow flags at the end of the lap there. It's Ocon, Esteban Ocon that is. But yellow flags at the end of the lap. That can't be good as I'm lapping Renault. Got past the Frenchman to lap him with Charles Leclerc up next, ready to be lapped. Only 17 cars left, that means one of the cars must have been eliminated in that lap 18 crash. On lap 20 now, one of the other humans has got a drive-through penalty. They must have sped at the end of the VSC, as it's Williams now behind me. I've got a gap of 14.2 seconds as I'm coming into sector 3, and no one ahead of me just yet, but the Williams should be closing in as the Williams is a much faster car, well, a much faster driver than me. It's going to be end of lap 20, going through the final corner, going to cross the line. A good lap apart from the final sector, but yeah, it was just to be expected. On to lap 21. So we're later on in lap 21 now, and there's been a VSC deployed for another incident. This one won't hamper me too much, I don't think, as I'm 14 seconds ahead of the Williams and there's no lapped cars ahead of me to get DRS off or anything. So, like, after it ends. So it won't do much, it's just a bit annoying as I go through the final corners now. I have to really slow on exit, so I don't get a penalty. The Alpha Tauri's got a tractor penalty now. He must have been speeding under the VSC. I really hate the VSC on these games, it's really annoying just trying to stay where you are, but I think it's the same for everyone. As you can see a car off at turn 4, which is what must have caused the VSC. It's ending now as I'm going at turn 3, which isn't ideal. So I'm having to brake really early for the corner, and it stopped as soon as I'm going through. I almost lose the car on exit, but I've gained another 2 seconds. It's a 15.6 second gap to the Williams behind. And I think the AlphaTauri must be taking the drive-through penalty now, along with the other cars. They're both in the pits. So that is not what they wanted from this race, sorry, as the gap to the Williams has already decreased on lap 22 as I go wide, make the apex late, and going into turn 7 now. So on lap 23 now, right in the back of Verstappen, as the Williams gap hasn't decreased since lap 22. I've got DRS from the back of the Red Bull, and you see the yellow fuel thing in the bottom right hand corner. You know how there's 2 virtual safety cars? I forgot to put my fuel into lean mixture and had it in rich mix throughout both VSCs. So now until the end of the race I've got 13 laps. I'm gonna have to save fuel so I don't run out of fuel for the end of the race, which isn't good when I've got a chasing car who's so much faster than me, hunting me down, which means that the Williams will really close in if I go into lean mix, or even standard, as I've been running in rich mix for the whole race. This will not be good for the race on to lap 24 now. This isn't good for the race, but it is what it is. I'm an idiot, so yeah. So 2 laps later, on the entrance to turn 3, the gap to the driver behind the Williams has already became less than 10 seconds. I'm still having to save fuel, as I was an idiot. Don't have much. I think I've been lead for a couple laps, which means the Williams will really close in. I was so annoyed at myself with the fuel thing. I was just making myself up about it. I didn't think I was going to win, because I thought the Williams were going to manage to close in because I forgot to save fuel earlier on. I didn't think it was going to be a good ending, but it still could not be a good ending. But yeah, throughout the course of almost a lap, the Williams closed in by another second, and he does have a 3-second time penalty though, which is a problem for him. That isn't good for the Williams. Yeah, as we get up to turn 3, we'll see how much he's closed in. So it's gone from 9.9 seconds to 8.4. So 8.3, sorry. So that means that he's closed in 1.6 seconds over the course of one lap, which doesn't look good for the rest of the race. So on to lap 29, coming through the final 2 corners. We're going to start at lap 30, and the Williams is stretch gap down now to 6 seconds. He's closed in, but he has gone off at the final corner. As you can see in the map, the Williams has made a mistake and he's dropped behind the other Williams, his teammate, and the Alfa Romeo. So that will not be good for the Williams, and adding up to the fact he's got a 3-second time penalty. That's basically 17-second gap that I've got now with 6 laps to go. I'm back in standard mix, but the only way I've really got now is my tyres. Remember, I put them on quite early on lap 13, and I'm not sure if they will last me till the end of the race. So on lap 35 now, my tyres are almost gone. You see the yellow tyre, 2 laps to go, and the Williams is 6.5 seconds behind me as I'm coming up to turn 3. And if I win this race, this would be the first ever league race that I've won. It won't be my first ever league race, because I've already raced in a few weeks before, but That's about my teammate, 7th I think he is. But I've got 1.5 laps to go before I win a league race on the F1 2020 game. So just coming through turn 6 into 7 and 8, fast right after each other. Hopefully I don't make a mistake through the last part of the race. My left front is on 71% as I'm coming into the penultimate corner on the penultimate lap, as I cross the line about now to start the final lap of the race, lap 36 of 36. The Williams 8 seconds behind, and with the 3 second time I do go wide to turn 1 though, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't a huge mistake, and I think that, again, without mistakes, I should win the Austrian Grand Prix. You can see a lap car there ahead of me. Well, it's not lapped yet. I think he has been. That's either Albon or Verstappen, one of the Red Bulls, which I have already lapped. Both of them. Verstappen twice. You can see fuel red, tyres red. This isn't good. Fuel going into rich mix. I've got 0.15 laps left, and I'm putting it into rich mix for the end of the race, as it's gone below 0.01, as coming to 0.1, coming through the final corner now. It's Red Bull ahead, but I come to cross the line to win the Austrian Grand Prix, first race of the Saturday Night Racing Championship. What a race that was. What a finish. 15 cars finished the race. And that is the end today.